Hey guys, welcome back to Ken's Cinema Sofa. If it's your first time here, I'm your brother Ken, a missionary of 15 years in Japan. This channel is all about exploring my other passion, awesome cinema, and even awesomer Dune. That's not English. I'm an English teacher. I have no excuse for doing that. Man, I'm just talking out of my mind just now because Dune is just amazing. I'm loving the films. I love the original Dune. I did that about 2 years ago on this channel. Check out that video if you haven't. I just love stories of awesome world building. I have Bram Stoker's Dracula up there on my shelf. And of course, as a Bible amateur scholar, as a missionary, Bible teacher, I love to read about ancient worlds and, deciphering like languages. I'm by no means an expert, but ancient Greek, Assyrian. I've been to the British Museum, kind of scouring their little treasures and everything in there, and seeing like evidence of ancient worlds and what people believe are legends proven to be true. Before we go any further, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, look, come and join us on the Cinema Sofa. Come and drop your comments and your recommendations for other films. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll even know when I'm dropping new stuff here, right? Come on, let's build this channel together. Let's get it. Oh.
You're following me.
That was supernatural.
Will you show me the way out of this maze, my Lord Nabaran?
It's weird, so it's definitely the sun that's doing that to their faces, because now they have natural looking faces.
I don't think so. I'm Lady Margot Fenring. I'm here to honor your coming of age.
Coming of age? How old is he supposed to be, coming of age?
You're not taking part in your own celebrations.
Her voice sounded really weird just then. Is she using like that psychic...
Bene Gesserit.
Bene Gesserit.
And what makes you say that?
I dreamed about you last night.
A pleasant dream, I hope.
Don't mock me, woman. Where are you going?
To my room.
Yeah, it is a shame indeed, man. Big part of me wanted to see this on the big screen. I'm glad I'm doing it here with you guys, but I'm still going to watch it because it's still playing here in Japan. Don't tell me you're going to kiss this guy. Are you serious?
Put your right hand in the box.
Ah, okay. This is the same thing they did with Paul, right? Yeah.
Cruel, but strongly motivated by honor. He yearns to be hurt. He loves pain.
And?
The bloodline is secured.
Man.
A female.
Already? Man.
I'm a motherly figure. And based on what happened between him and his own mother, I didn't expect to be effective.
What happened between him and his mother?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
He murdered her.
Whoa. He murdered his mom? Man. But you know what, though? Like, I hate to say this. They're hearkening. I don't know what his mom was like. I know that sounds bad, but man, they all seem to be a cult of hatred. Like, what was she like?
Rid me of this Famine demon.
Okay, man. Chill out. This looks like it was an H.R. Geiger painting. Here are those weird ships again.
Caked in sand.
Yeah, what kind of instruments would they be playing this far in the future? Oh, finally. So where has he been all this time? So there must be remnants of the Duke's forces that are still around, eh? Or that survived. There's something about their floating that looks so weird. I mean, we've seen this in a dozen other films, more than a dozen, but something about it looks weird in this movie. Another artist that this reminds me of is Moebius. Oh. What in the world is this? Wow. This is like so cinematic. I mean, every movie is, but it's something about the way that Denis Villeneuve directs this, that he is not afraid to let everything play out in the frame of the film, right? Other directors with less confidence, they would do so many cuts and just ruin this. What are these? Are these a Harkonnen or Fremen? Oh, Fremen.
I recognize your footsteps. Oh, man.
So you guys are still gonna kill each other? Yeah, you waited a while. It was about to bring the killing stroke down.
You young pup. You young pup.
I wonder in that moment while they were staring at each other with that, machismo, if a couple of people did get killed.
Since Muad'Dib's been driving Laban crazy, the smuggling business has been quite profitable. You see the fear.
Our resources are limited. Fear is all we have.
I wonder how long it's been, yeah.
Realize what you were able to achieve with 200 men? Incredible fighters. Duncan said there were millions of them.
In the deep south.
Thousands of these guys, you could take control of the entire planet. It's your father's dream. What are you afraid of?
Hey,
Yeah,
spice opened my mind, Gurney.
it's more than that.
If I go south,
That's
all my
still
visions
scary, man.
lead to horror.
Hey guys, this is Ken from the future, and I just want to drop a little theological note. This scene reminds me of a scripture in the Bible in Second Kings where the king of Samaria is being sieged by the king of Syria. And the siege is so bad that, a donkey's head is selling extra expensive, and even a piece of dung, doo-doo from a dove, has high value and is selling for many shekels. And it's just a terrible time. Well, one woman beseeches the king's attention from the wall where he's walking and just surveying the chaos in his city. And she says to him, Lord, help me. A woman and I agreed to eat our children, and we agreed to eat my son first. So I boiled my son and we ate him. But now that it's time to eat her son, she's hidden him away. And you can imagine the king's response when he heard this. It says that he tore his clothes, which, in the ancient world, if you're watching Dune, you probably have some idea of ancient traditions. In the ancient Middle Eastern traditions, especially Israel, tearing your clothes was a sign of mourning and great grief. So, yeah, it's just a terrible thing. And I just want to drop that note. It just reminds me of that when I look at this terrifying image in Dune, that mouth stretched out in pain from starvation. Back to the movie.
Your path leads to war. You know that.
Wow. That is a hard thing to hear.
What will you do?
At his age, too.
Firepower. Which you don't have. And here I am. I know where your father hid the family atomics.
The family atomics.
Promise me you didn't want power. No matter what I do, you still don't trust me. Because you're a foreigner. Like your friend. My allegiance is to you. To the Fremen. I'm doing this for all of us. Do you believe me?
That look, I know that look. She's a sister still, okay? We'll see. Boy.
It's right under everybody's noses of clever.
That's the idea. Nobody would ever look in there because it's obvious.
Not clever.
Your great-great-grandfather's legacy. The 92 original Atreides family's atomic warheads.
Wow. That's really
That is power.
amazing that this far in the future, you guys tell me, is this supposed to be like 10,000 years in the future?
Imperial Diary.
That this is still the
June
height of power,
7191.
atomic
It's
power?
imminent.
I would think
Reports
that it
from
would
the
have been
south of
eclipsed by
Arrakis
something
arrive
else.
rarely. These are barren, burnt lands. Nothing can live there without faith. which is why our Bene Gesserit missionaries have been so productive there.
Bene Gesserit missionaries, interesting. Yeah, you know, I've
Voice from the
gotten
outer
some
world,
hate here in Japan also
with religious fervor
when people
rising
have
in the
heard that
south.
I'm a missionary. So there's an old guy that I used to talk to all the time in front of the 7-Eleven down there. And, you know, we got along good, you know, just a couple of dudes. He's a couple decades older than me, but just chilling, talking whenever we could, you know, after work, and we bump into each other. And it was all good until he found out I was a missionary. And so, you know, in mid puff of his cigarette, his face totally changed. He said, "I hate you missionaries. You come before the empires come," right? I told him, look, if as an African American man, if you think that I'm here to represent or somehow uh, plant a flag for America and American culture, no, that ain't the case. You can think that if you want, but the only kingdom I represent is the kingdom of heaven. And that kingdom, as preached by Christ, was radically different 2,000 years ago than any other religious idealism. Okay? The messiahs that came after Jesus, like Simon Bar Kokhba, I talked about him in another video. They all fit the same pattern of military change and revolution in the world. Whereas Jesus was very clear that the kingdom that I bring, that I am ushering in, is not of this earth. If it were, do you think that my disciples would stand by and allow me to be arrested and brought before you? He was speaking to Pontius Pilate. Do you not think that my disciples would fight and stop that from happening? But my kingdom is from another place, he said. So I do see what Frank Herbert is doing here, and I see his fears and worries and concerns about religion and about cults and ideologies, and especially here in this scene, the idea of missionaries going out. They're like stretching the kind of dark fingers of empires into the world, clad in the you know, alluring and deceptive cover of religion and divinity and divine and faith, right? What I'm saying is that the fundamental basics and core of Christianity is polar opposite of human nature, right? Grace, unmerited favor, the world we live in, with human nature, you prove and you work for what you get. And if you make a mistake, you're going to have to work extra hard to get back in my good grace, right? That is not the message of the cross. That is not the gospel. What is this? Is this like a smaller worm? Or they fight each other to death? How old? How young is very young though? I don't I don't know how to be that self-aware as a child in the belly. Does that go well with, you know, in your maturity level and self-awareness, to be able to just be shut up in someone's belly? I would be claustrophobic. Ooh. I have no idea. Back to my old phrase from when I first started this channel. Movie wash over me. Water of life. Ah, that's it. Okay.
Soon a man is going to visit your temple and he may want you to perform the rites.
Reverend Mother, it is forbidden. Let him try.
Okay. That voice be killing me. I'm sorry. What is okay? I thought that was like the Thin Man. No. What? Did she get burned? What's going on? Uh-oh. That's what he saw. Oh, is that the atomic? Are they bombing it? Oh no, they found this spot.
I want to go on the ground.
My lord, I would recommend you stay inside those.
Bring his body to my quarters. My poor darlings are hungry.
Here.
It's early morning.
Oh.
Humiliated our family. You humiliated me. or die.
Come on now. How could you do this to your older brother? Well, he's psychotic, so.
Embarrass our family one more time. It will be the last.
Time to start looking for another family man. Raban. I wonder how he found that place, though. Did I miss something?
Didn't even engage on the ground like honorable fighters. In the South, only leaders are allowed to speak. Must take my place.
I think of all that stone
I don't care what you believe. I believe.
Yeah, I know this is what he's afraid of. And I'm afraid too, because if he's not really a believer, and if they go the route of this not being real, not being spiritually real, and just using their faith for political means, for revenge,
I'm moving everyone to the
I'm
south.
afraid what will happen to him, what kind of person he'll become.
What are you talking about?
That's an order! Gurney Halleck, go south! Protect my mother.
My lord.
Yeah, I don't think we got a little bit of a look, right? Of South. Oh.
You need to see.
You need to see. Yeah. See, I like that actor. I'm glad they put that in there. But Herbert, I read that he was, it really hit him how religions were influenced, many religions, by people living or coming out of the desert. And having spent some time in the desert myself, in the Sahara, in Morocco, and talking with the people that live out there, the Bedouin, and how they prefer that to the city. Let me pause this. There's something about being in the desert, in that vast emptiness, that allows you, I think, mentally, but spiritually, at least we see this in the Bible. When Jesus goes out to the desert, Moses also goes away up to the mountain in Sinai in the desert to see God, right? To talk with God. God calls him up from the crowd of Israelites at the bottom of the mountain, right? There's this theme of separation from the mundane, from the fallen, from the things that cause people to get lost in the created world and lose sight of the creator. And so whether it be going into the desert, away from everyone, where nothing is out there and nothing grows, and you are kind of forced to rely on this being that is above everything to sustain you. Then there's the other side of it, of this being, him being impressed that human beings would step away from the things that most humans and most creatures get wrapped up in, which is the enticements of the material world, and come out and step away into a place where there's hardly nothing out there but him, that God is impressed by that. And the biblical God has the character that respects humans in that way and is willing and desiring to step down and talk with you and reason with you. And to say again, I'm aware, I know how Frank Herbert felt about this. I totally get that. I'm just saying from a biblical point of view, I'm just coming at this when I see certain elements. Okay, I'm not trying to undo what Frank Herbert is trying to say through Dune. Okay.
The world has made choices for us.
Has made choices for us.
If I go south, I might lose you.
You will never lose me, not as long as you stay who you are.
Ah, that's terrible. Why go that far, man? Seriously. But you know, I've read about or heard about the Harkonnen that they just
Spy.
they're almost
Left
like just
behind.
walking death.
No trace of
basically.
the others.
Even the idea of them
themselves
cutting
hide in
their hair,
storms.
right, is like they see that as a form of weakness, I heard.
You killed 9 of my men with one single blade. Only pleasure remains.
Man, she's really small. Or he's really tall.
Dearest brother, you are not prepared for what is to come.
Is that his
Don't worry.
youngest sister
I'm
that's
with
not born yet? That's Anya Taylor-Joy, right? She is killing it these days with these artistic performances. And New Mutants.
I'm here.
رولی زرا قریب Hurtha, a gem jillacha soradium.
Johnny.
Jisunatha, some of just Zilasha.
I'm here. I'm here. Are you okay?
Yes. Thanks to you.
Ooh, knew that was coming. Don't like that look. There's something about this movie that has a very, like a neo 80s, 1980s vibe.
Clear. I see possible futures
Hmm.
all at once.
Interesting.
Our enemies are all around us. Do see a way. There is a narrow way through.
So it is like he's been awakened. Is this going to lead to the classic The Sleeper Has Awakened? Or David Lynch?
You're the daughter of Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
Ah,
Did my father know?
interesting. You know what? I am sorry to say this is the only thing that I heard that
I took the worm's poison.
I was not looking for it. This is why it's so important to stay away from the internet before you see a film.
Or Harkonnens.
Whoa.
So this is how I will survive.
I wonder if the Baron knows. Does the Baron know that that's one of his daughters? So that makes a lot of sense the way their culture looks now, because I had the thoughts already, impressions that there was a lot of Arabic influence, and then someone in the comments filled me in on that, so thanks for that.
Prophecy is how they enslave us, how they dominate.
Oh,
You'll get yourself in trouble.
This is none of your business.
Shizihik ishitam mashapito edemashiri kalagash. Uzulfa bit nair gevi bardawati.
uh-oh.
Jura hakari imashneri
That's right.
yakala. Jeskel.
He has all of that information. He's seen it.
Shisha chi.
Shidgim shari.
Siklakai.
Wow.
Shuba hoki. Dina esinani. Nelisana kai. Rui dimenaruk. Ashini.
I wonder what's going through her mind, because she sees, obviously, that he knows these things about these people. That is interesting. Everybody's fighting over control of this planet. Wow. And its resource, Dune. Spice. Wow, look at that, man. Wow. Impressive. You know what? Like I've already brought up two different artists, H.R. Geiger and
I brought Spice production under control.
Who is this?
What do we do?
Okay, I thought this was the Baron arriving. Is this the Emperor himself? So yeah, wow, that is just such an impressive design. That reminds me of Sid Mead. Like, do you guys know Sid Mead? Classic illustrator, futurist. Worked on Blade Runner, did some Gundam as well.
I need the Emperor alive.
So that is the Emperor. That's kind of strange, though. I don't see an Emperor coming way out there.
Do you have any idea who this Muad'Dib could be?
He's a madman.
Mad?
All Fremen are mad.
That's all you know. Really?
I'm sorry. It's just so Christopher Walken. God bless him.
The sandstorm that's approaching threatens the integrity of our shields.
Baron, have you ever investigated the south regions of Arrakis?
Our region is uninhabitable.
Exhibits evidence of human activity.
I swear to you, I wasn't aware of any of this.
Whoa. Look at that. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this on a screen before. There have no doubt been futuristic worlds like this and everything, but this movie is It's a meeting of different avenues of creativity, spirituality. It's just wow. It's interesting. Long live the fighters. Uh-oh. So I wonder if this, what's coming, is the battle from the very first Dune movie that he had a vision of all of them fighting in the desert. Worms. Oh my, oh. Oh my, wow. They come in with flags of flying. So I looked it up, and the Roman emperor is essentially a military position at its core. So many emperors did go out. And in fact, the Emperor Constantine did fall in battle. So yeah, this must be the battle from the first movie, the vision that they showed. This guy is so out of his mind that he's happy to see him. This all seems to be happening way too fast, because I know there are other books, right?
Grandfather.
Oh, what a scene. What? Oh, look at this guy. Wow.
You die like an animal.
You die like an animal. Wow. What an interplay, wow, of emotions there, guys. Grandfather, which induces a feeling of warmth, and then suddenly cold-blooded. Oh. Bring the prisoners to the residency. It's because there's other books and other movies, and I know the director was talking about he wanted to continue. He might continue, depending on what, I forgot, but so I figured that the emperor would be like, you know, the overarching villain of the whole thing, you know, but that's okay. Like I said, with a novel or movies that are based off of novels, you can't see where it's going. I love that.
Look who's back from the dead.
Uh-oh. Ah. Well, that was quick.
Warships. Great houses.
I want you to know I will love you as long as I breathe.
You're facing a full invasion, Famine.
How can you be so sure the great houses are here for me? I am Paul Atreides, son of Leto Atreides, Duke of Arrakis. Send a warning to all ships. If the great houses attack, our atomics will obliterate all spice fields.
You're out of your mind.
He's bluffing.
Consider what you're about to do.
He's like, I'm out of my mind.
What you're about to do, Paul Atreides.
Silence!
Woo. Abomination. Because a guy shouldn't be able to do that.
Consent, my lord.
Right?
I'll take the hand of your daughter. She will remain safe, and we will rule together over the Empire.
Man.
Do you know why? They killed him. He was a man who believed in the rules of the heart. The heart is not meant to rule. Father was a weak man.
What are you trying to do right now? Are you trying to get sent to heaven, the sky place, right away?
Not stain your hands on this animal. Let me deal with him.
It's my burden.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
This dude is crazy. Ooh, nice. Very economical. Wow. Even with the fighting. Oh.
She's your pet?
I wonder how much of their nature is actually at work in him. Oh. Oh.
Listen, Argaid.
I mean, I'm sorry, but whew, I know that dude was praying, but I was too, man.
The life debt has been paid. Spare my father now, and I will be your willing bride.
Was he supposed to kiss that? That's even hard for me to watch, knowing that he was an emperor, right? And it's Christopher Walken, but
The great houses have answered. They refuse to honor your ascendancy.
Lead them to paradise.
lots of questions where this is going to go. Because their prophecy says that their Messiah, I still can't say the name correctly, that's why I'm not even going to try, will bring a green paradise back to Arrakis.
Your brother attacks the great houses. A holy war begins.
Wow. So she's just ready to get out of here. Wow. Dude. Denis. What are you talking about if you do a third one? You got to now. This is your baby. Who else is going to do it like this? This is what you get for making this in the first place, for wowing us with such visual language. Who else can take over this? And if they do, it'll have to be a director with an equally just powerful skill set at visual communication, right? I can't see this movie having any secret endings or anything, no. Well, guys, that was Dune Part 2. Part 2 of Part 2. The word masterpiece is used too much, and I won't even, I'm hesitant to use it here as well. But I would like to say that this, Dune, as a whole, not just this movie, is a master work of Denis Villeneuve. A master work in the way, what I mean is, it's a work in process of becoming a masterpiece. It's difficult. I'm an artist, and I don't make movies or anything like that, but I do illustrate and make paintings and series of paintings. And it's difficult to maintain the same impact and visual style and consistency of visual language in a series of works. So I have to clap my hands and just give it to this director for being able to just continue on with this film from Dune 1 and continue and build on the same, take all the visual language from the first film and just add on to that while still being consistent with the tone, where this feels like Dune, not just Denis' film, but this feels like we've come back to the same Dune, the same type of visual language, the same type of storytelling, the same vibe as the previous film. And I don't know if they made this, I don't know if they filmed this at the same time. Lord of the Rings is another series that's able to do that. And I think they were able to do that largely because they filmed the whole trilogy at the same time. They spent all those, like a year, 2 years, 3 years in New Zealand and did that. So yeah, if he does go on with a third Dune, look, man, don't wait. It's okay to wait if the story takes place much further in the future, couple years or whatever. I don't know because I haven't read the books. But anyway, I digress. Loving this, I loved it. I'm definitely gonna see this again in the movie theater. Probably this weekend. I'm just gonna go. I found one theater that's still playing it in Tokyo. I'm gonna go see it. There's a lot to talk about, and I won't talk about it here. I talked about it a lot while I was reacting to this. But I'll just say this: I do see what I love about this is that I can see Frank Herbert's concerns and worries about religion and Messiah complexes, while at the same time he is furthering, how would I say, he's showing a respect for the people and the cultures that these kind of beliefs spring out of, right? I never get the feeling that he's being, what's the word, patronizing. I don't get the feel that he's being patronizing of these people, of these characters. The Fremen characters, they're deep in their belief, but even within the Fremen, they are divided, right? In the way that they feel, interpret what they believe in their religion about this Messiah, right? And that does mirror some of Christianity. Christianity is different though, because the quabbles that we have, did I say that right? I've been away from the States for a long time. Squabbles? You guys, you won't believe how much English I lose from spending 16 years in Asia. Because most of the English I use is just for 16 years. Imagine that. Using standard, basic, almost elementary school level English in your teaching and interacting with people, right? And when I go back home or I talk to my folks from home, they call me out on it. Like, Ken, what's wrong? I struggle to remember and recall like deep words. Even now, it's like I'm pausing, right? Probably a lot of YouTubers do that, but are we airheads? But anyway, let's see. Squabble. The squabble, not quabble. Sorry. Now I feel so weird even thinking it was quabble. But anyway, most of the things that Christians squabble over within Protestantism, you had the big, split between Roman Catholicism and Protestantism. That was the one big split, okay? And we won't go into why that happened right now, okay? Maybe if you look in some of my other videos. But amongst Protestants, mostly the things that we are split over have to do with secondary or tertiary things like infant baptism, or whether you should wear pants, right? And women should wear pants or not, dresses, things like that. We don't have these big issues about who the Messiah is, right? If Jesus is the Messiah or not. We are united on that, right? We believe that Jesus is God in the flesh, that he is 100% God, 100% man. Now, I'm not talking about Christian offshoots or cults, right? I'm talking about mainstream Protestantism, or what we just call Christianity. Many of us do. So in that way, it's different from Dune here, right? Now, I will say in the very beginning, when we talk about the fundamental age of Christianity, Jesus Christ, when he walked the earth, there were many that did leave Jesus after certain teachings that he shared, right? With, for example, one of the most well known is when Jesus declared that you cannot have salvation until you drink my blood and eat of my body, right? And it said from that point that many of his disciples stopped following him. And then Jesus turned to the 12 and said, do you also want to leave? And Peter said, where else shall we go, Lord? You have the words of life. So in that point in Christian history, at the very beginning, right, the foundation of it, you did have moments like that in Jesus' life. But then again, there's a couple of things we have to remember. One, the sheer honesty of the Bible for even sharing these accounts, right? Or in theology and apologetics, which is the field of theology that is defending the Bible. We call that embarrassing testimony, right? And this is one of the ways that we use to help prove the validity of the Bible, that it is willing to tell the truth, even if it paints itself or its religious leader in a poor looking manner, right? So yeah, the fact that it's willing to share these embarrassing details with us shows that the Bible and the writers of Scripture are more concerned with truth and honesty than trying to make their religious figure look good, right? Another example of that is the resurrection of Jesus from the grave, the fact that women are the first ones to find him resurrected. Well, in the first century, Palestine, Israel, not being sexist or anything, just telling you the way it was back then, one woman's testimony or three women's testimony did not amount to one man's testimony, right? So if you were trying to construct cleverly a religion that really hinged on this dead man coming back to life, right? It was a big deal back then, because many people knew that Jesus had prophesied that he would come back to life. And interestingly, to this day, there is no record of his body being found by the Roman authorities and just splayed out before everyone to stop this cult of Christianity from spreading. There are records of his crucifixion by, for example, the Senator Publius Cornelius Tacitus, who is one of the legends of, in the historical field, historians, right? And he was hated Christians, right? But he, wrote just mere decades after Jesus' crucifixion, the details of Jesus being crucified, who he called Christus, and him suffering the extreme penalty, which is crucifixion, under, he says, one of our procurators, Pontius Pilatus. And so so the thing about that is that the record of his death is there in Bible scripture and in regular historical documents. You can read it today in the Annals, which is his book that he wrote. So the fact is that the details and the historicity of Jesus' death is accounted, but there's no record of a body being, brought out of the tomb to show people like, look, stop believing in this guy that's resurrected. He is not resurrected. Here's his body right here. There's no record of that. So, So the reason I'm saying all of this is to say that in the beginning, yes, Jesus did have moments where people struggled with believing in who he was. But the difference between him and Paul in this movie is that Jesus' ministry and claims were backed up by supernatural signs and miracles. We're not talking about things that could be construed a certain way or interpreted. We're talking about bringing back to life dead girl, walking on the sea in the storm, casting out devils when the demons know who he is. They're calling out on his name. Jesus of Nazareth, leave us alone. Are you here to torment us before the time, right? So they're referring to a time of judgment in the future. They know that they're going to be judged by the Almighty God. And Jesus said, shh, quiet, commanded them not to speak any more about who he was and to come out of those people and leave. The multiplication of fish and bread to the multitudes that were there listening to him, the Sermon on the Mount, many miracles and supernatural miracles. So the things we see in this film are, they are signs. They look like they're signs, but you can see how the signs come about in a way that show no particular divinity from Paul himself, but that kind of like just seeing future events play out, right? That's a big difference from in Christianity, Jesus showing as he is the creator of the universe in flesh, a mastery of the created world, right? Bending the sea to his will, him walking on the sea, showing that this storm that really is crying out and howling and making these disciples fear for their life, he's not afraid because the storm is afraid of him, because it respects and fears its creator, which is God himself in Christ. Preaching from one of the fishermen's boats and then telling them to put their net on the side. And the disciples saying, look, we haven't caught anything all day, master. He says, just do it. And then the boat just being filled, 2 boats filled with all the haul of fish coming in, right? Once again, causing life to come back into a little girl's body when it was gone, right? Jesus waiting 3 days, right? Waiting days after Lazarus. He hears that Lazarus is sick. Lazarus' sister comes and sends word that he's sick. Please come and heal him. Jesus waits and does not go. Why? He says that I waited so that you will believe, right? So he waits, and that means that Lazarus dies, and he's wrapped up and put in the tomb. And his sister says to Jesus when Jesus finally comes, Master, just stay away because it's been days. His body it's got to be stinking by now. And he calls out to Lazarus, and Lazarus comes out of the grave. They unbound him, right? So there's definite, not just brushes with the supernatural or the preternatural, which is what we see in this, right? Which is kind of like preternatural is the bridge between the natural and supernatural, right? Preternatural is like the realm of possibility, but just the upper echelons of it, right? So the seeing of the future by using spice and all of that, that's preternatural because it's dependent on created things. And it's in the realm of possibility, but they're just outside of what we understand. Jesus went far beyond that into the realms of supernatural, right? The angels that came to him in the desert, 40 days in the desert, fasting, overcoming Satan's temptations, overcoming the temptations that afflict all humanity, mankind. That was key for the Son of God to do that in order to bear the weight of the sin of humanity and overcome it, right? And to save just by belief in that, belief that he did that. So yeah, that's the realms of supernatural. So that's my theology talk right there, okay? I hope that you all haven't been put off by that. If you have, God bless you. I pray for you. Love you. Back to Dune, the look of it, it's just, wow. One of the things I love about doing these kind of movies is that you always wonder, no matter how many details are put in a book, you always wonder how different an auteur, a director, an artist is gonna just make it look on the screen, right? We see that with Dracula. There's so many Dracula movies. And for a long time, he had a certain look on screen, right? The Bela Lugosi look, and a lot of Dracula movies after that kind of copied that and did what they wanted, made little changes, but it was still basically Bela Lugosi, right? With the upturned collar. And then comes along Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is the most faithful to the novel. It truly is. That's one of the reasons I love it. But it's just such like a gothic opera fever dream. You know, it really is. I love that movie. It's not perfect, but that's part of the reasons why I love it. Some of the imperfections in it, right? The over-the-top acting in certain scenes has that feel of like 19th century, early 20th century vaudeville. I just love those little touches like that. So I think that Denis Villeneuve, even though I haven't seen the original Dune, and I am going to do that eventually and put this on the channel because I want to compare it. But I love that authors can go back to the same source material and bring it out in a way that is reflective and respective of the source material, but clearly this director's visual language and stamp. You know, I really like that. I loved it. Well, guys, there's not much else for me to say. I love Dune. I want more. I'm sad that it's over. How long do I gotta wait? It was 2 years almost between Dune 1 and Dune 2 on this channel. I hope I don't have to wait that long. In the meantime, I'm just gonna start looking for more and more films that are just visual powerhouses, you know? So anyway, look, if you have some recommendations of films that are in line with this, they don't have to be sci-fi, but just speak visually, like a large palette of visual language on the screen, please let me know in the comments. If you like my reaction, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you give me a thumbs down. It's a free world, but still, God bless you. And I'll see you next time on the sofa.